Gotta finish strong,
Let's go, Jess!
This was me my sophomore year at 15 years old, and this was my first year ever running track. And as you can see, I was definitely getting stepped on the whole time.
Keep going, baby, keep going!
And to make matters worse, not only was I getting stepped on every meet, I fell and busted my ass the first meet, like my first race ever. So already wasn't starting off with a very good career. So I was not expecting to run track. I was expecting to go play football. But yeah, that shit didn't work out either. So I went back to track. Now, the time between my sophomore year and my junior year, I definitely had a little power up because that whole summer after my first year running track as a sophomore, I was spending the entire summer doing 6 a.m. workouts with the football team, like in the weight room, just lifting weights, just getting stronger for football. But because I didn't end up running it, I just started working out in my room since I wasn't playing football. But so my legs and stuff, my body got stronger, and I started getting more explosive and trying to increase my explosiveness by, like, you know, upping my power clean and stuff like that. And eventually, like, about that, from November until January, I was just doing power cleans basically. And I upped it from like 90 pounds or 95 pounds to, I started being able to rep 135. So that was a little bit of progress. Not the best, but, you know, I was getting there. And then in January, that's when me and my friends started, quote unquote, training seriously for track. So we went to the track a couple times, and we were really just like, we wasn't nothing structured. We were just like trying to see who could beat each other, just racing each other basically, not like actually conditioning. But then me and Zeph, we were the only two who really started like actually like going to the track consistently, mainly because we were the oldest, so we both had cars to drive and stuff like that. So it was mainly me and him, and we would go to the track, and we would just like run a 200 or run a couple 200s or run a few hundreds, like just racing each other basically. And then like in February, like the end of February, that was like when track season started. And I was feeling pretty confident, not even gonna hold you. Like, I didn't feel the best, but I felt like I was definitely gonna do better. And I did, because the first meet in my heat, I slid in the 200, and I still ran some rolls. I ran like a 24 something, but I did better than I was doing last year. And then this year I decided to run the 400 as well. So I ran the 400 the first meet, and I ran like a 54.5. And then I ran the 400 a couple other times. I ran the 400 like maybe 5 times in total. And then I ran the 4x4 a few times that year too. But the next few times I ran the 400, I ran a 54.09 or something like that, and I ran a 54.05. And those are still some road ass times, but I didn't really expect to make that much of an improvement my first year running it. And then, like, I ran that 54.05 like right before conference, and then the next meet, which was conference, I think, I went out there and I PR'd in both the 200 and the 400, because I had PR'd the Nixa meet. There's a school named Nixa. That was the first meet where I like saw an improvement in myself, because I PR'd in the 400 where I ran the 54.05, and then I PR'd in the 200 later that night, and I ran a 23.78. And that was my biggest jump in the 200. I wasn't even expecting to run that low. I was expecting to run like a 23.9 at least, just to break sub 24. So I was happy with that. And then a couple meets later, I think, I went to a few JV meets, you know, slid there, but it was JV, so I wasn't really happy about it. And I went to conference, and since I was mainly running JV. I was running at some varsity meets, but I was mainly like a reserve, backup type shit. So I had to run for JV at conference. So I ran the JV 200 and the JV 400, and then I ran the JV 4x4 relay and the 4x2 relay. And I PR'd in the 2 and the 4 there as well. And that was like the meet that was only like 2 meets after Nixa, or 2 or 3 meets after Nixa. But I hadn't ran the 400 for real since Nixa. So I went from a 54.05 to a 52.4, like back, like right after running a 54.05. Like that was my first 400 since then. And at that point, I knew I had the potential to like run a crazy decent time. Not no fast time for like the track community, but like pretty fast for where I'm at. Because, you know, I live in Missouri right now. So Missouri's pretty rolled. So I thought I could definitely get my times down faster if I actually trained for the 400. And so after conference, I had ran a districts, but like I only ran a districts because coach like kind of pulled me aside and was like, do you want to run the 200 instead of Brandon? Because I have a teammate named Brandon, and he was already running like 3 events for varsity, so they just threw me in there so he wouldn't have to run that. And I got rolled. I wasn't expecting much, you know. I didn't make it past the prelims since I was the 8th seed anyway. So I got rolled in districts, and that ended my year 2. But at this point, I started taking track seriously, and I started like actually researching and started writing in my notebook about like tips and stuff like that, and logging my times and different training techniques and all this to get better, thinking I was finna spend the whole summer training and shit. And I didn't. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I spent the whole summer training and I'm showing y'all like my progress now. Like, no, I didn't. I really didn't do nothing all summer. I don't think I even hit the track once for real during the summer. So, and I've only been to the track maybe once this year since the school year started, and I've been to the gym a few times. But I mean, I've been lifting in fitness class, but like nothing major, because you know it's fitness class. But now I think that I can start, if I start uploading, I think I can stay consistent and, you know, try to get those times down, because some real shit, I feel like I could actually break the school record, because the school record for my school is a 48.29 for the 400, and it hasn't been broken since either 2011 or 2008, and I feel like I can definitely beat that if I train for it. But I gotta stay consistent, so these videos should help me stay consistent. But right now, my PR last year was a 52.4 at the end of my year 2, and obviously right now, I don't think I'm beating that right now because I'm not in track shape. But these few months that I condition and train and shit, that first meet, I should definitely be running a 50 or 51 or even sub 50 something. I'm running faster than my PR last year in the 400. But my first video, I might upload tomorrow. I'm gonna try to stay consistent, so I'm probably gonna upload tomorrow. So that'll be day 1, and the season usually starts on the 26th or 27th of February, but the first meet isn't until after spring break. So the first meet is always like the first week of March. So I have until really the beginning of March to train and not be rolled no more. Because right now, even though I've made a lot of improvement between the last 2 years, I'm still rolled in the grand scheme of things. So we're going to see how much progress I make in these days. And hopefully by March and really the end of February, there's enough progress seen in between me now versus me in the future. And I'll be one of them ones. So we'll see.